really quick. All right. So Wendy's been in the education industry for over 17 years, advising and mentoring students along their educational journey. She's joined by Brad Schmidt, Associate Director of Admissions. Brad has over 16 years experience in admissions, with the majority of them in graduate medical education. He is originally from Chicago, go Cubs, and now resides in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where he manages the Southeast region for admissions and recruiting at St. George's University School of Medicine. So Brad, thank you for being on hand to assist with questions. And Wendy, thank you for being here to present to some of our students. And again, like I said, we're going to record the session, so it'll have a much larger reach. We just look forward to hearing about what you have to share. So go ahead and take it from here.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and thank you for allowing us to be here today to present. It's really a pleasure, and I always look forward to sharing information about going to medical school and why you should choose an international medical school. So this is something very near and dear to me, so I hope that everyone enjoys it and finds it informative. Now, I know that when you're looking to go to medical school, you have tons of options. And so you're probably thinking, if I want to practice medicine in the United States, why would I look at choosing an international medical school? Well, today we're here to talk with you about some of those things so that you can be able to make well-informed decisions and also help you along your process as you're researching other schools and institutions. So in fact, I want to let you know that students applying to an MD program in the 2019-2020 academic year actually applied to an average of 17 programs each. So that's a lot of schools. And aside from US programs, the students also considered institutions, public and private, and then also there are many who do look at attending schools out of the country. So of course, our focus this evening is attending school abroad. So we hope that it will be informative for you. So you might also be looking at other experiences and wondering, well, how can I benefit by choosing an international medical school? Well, it does help to broaden your experience, and it gives you more of what you'll be able to talk about as you are going through your residency interviews. Now, in fact, in 2017, over 218,000 active physicians who are practicing in the United States completed their education internationally. And so that means that the international medical graduates, or IMGs as we like to call it, workforce basically comprises of about 25% today. And that's up from 1963. It was only 10% back then. So as the years have passed, more and more students have seen the benefit of being able to obtain their education internationally, and it's reflected in the US workforce. So this presentation focuses on 9 factors that you can consider as you are researching medical schools. So the first factor is graduates matching in residencies of their choice. So first and foremost, when you're looking at a medical school, you do want to look at the residencies and how graduates are able to obtain residencies of their choice. This is something that's going to be very important to you. So in 2019, over 2,000, actually almost 3,000 US citizen IMGs matched into residencies through the National Residency Matching Program, or the NRMP. And also you will find that this was able to allow them to be able to not only experience a more streamlined process, but it really helped to ease a lot of the tension as students were going through their residency programs, because by utilizing that system, they're able to apply for residency, submit documentation there, ultimately be matched, and everything is housed in a central location. Now, St. George's University is the #1 provider into first-year US residencies for the last 11 years combined. And thus far in 2020, our students, our graduates, our physicians have obtained over 1,100 residencies. That's huge. And no other medical school in the United States provides more doctors into the workforce than St. George's University. So when you look at some of those residency placements, I want you to take a look at this. Now you'll notice that internal medicine and family medicine are the highest percentages. Why? Because that's where the greatest need is currently in the United States. But when students are looking to go into residency, there's a host of specialties and areas that you can look at. And some people even like to consider doing a residency and also focusing on a fellowship in another area. So for example, you may do 3 years of internal medicine and then also do a specialty in infectious disease, if that's of interest to you. So you're able to kind of tailor your experience based really upon what you're interested in, and we're able to provide you with support every step of the way. So that's something that you do want to find out from a medical school, is how supportive they will be for you as you're going through residency. So the next factor to consider is clinical training opportunities that align with your goal. So basically, when you look at clinical rotations, you want to know about options. Do you have to find your own facility to do your clinical rotations? Are they provided for you? Are you able to select the location, or is that just given to you and said, hey, you have to go and do your rotations here or there? Here at St. George's University, we have over 70 hospitals and health systems in 3 countries. So what that means is we have a ton of support and options available for you in regards to allowing you to tailor your clinical rotation experience based upon a couple of factors: where you'd like to be, and also if you want to be in a hospital or in a healthcare system. So the next factor to consider is the demonstrated success on the USMLE. Now, USMLE stands for United States Medical Licensing Exam. And before you can even go into your clinicals, you need to take your step 1 of the USMLE exam. Now, I know everyone is familiar with the MCAT, but the USMLE is perhaps the most important exam that you'll take in your medical career. So step 1 of the USMLE occurs between years 2 and 3. So after you complete your basic sciences and before you go into your 3rd year for clinical rotations, right between there is where you'll take your step 1 exam. Our students have a 96% first-time pass rate on the USMLE step 1, and that's in 2018, and it's equivalent to other US medical and DO schools. Also, if you look at other foreign schools, they're at 78%. Now, we're considered to be a foreign school as well. However, we're at 96%. Part of the reason why our students are so successful on the USMLE Step 1 is because of the curriculum that we have that's structured to support the USMLE exam, and also because of the instructional method that our faculty members provide to our students. So that when our students actually sit for USMLE exam, it's as if they're taking another St. George's University exam. Now, there are 2 other tests as well involved in the USMLEs. So step 2 is a clinical knowledge and also basic sciences, but more so focusing on your clinical skills. And you'll take that in your 3rd year residency, 3rd year of your clinical rotations. And then step 3 occurs while you're in residency. So that's pretty much the 3 steps of the USMLE that you will be taking. Supportive learning environment. I mean, when you think about your undergrad career, how many times did you utilize tutoring? How many times did you meet with your professors or the faculty assistants and ask for help? Did you form any study groups? Well, maybe you did or maybe you didn't, but I'd like to let you know that when you get to medical school, it's totally different from your undergrad program. Many of my students have told me that when they got to medical school, some of the tricks that they learned in their undergrad career just didn't quite cut it. So therefore, as you're looking at medical schools, you want to know about the learning environment and how supportive it will be for you. Now at St. George's University, we have a Department of Educational Services, or DES as we like to call it. DES is a voluntary department that allows you to be able to come in and take advantage of time management skills, how to study properly, how do you take a test, note taking, Also, they do special tests with you to help you identify how you learn and absorb information, because they understand the rigor associated with medical school. And we like to make sure that our students are set up properly to be able to succeed. Now, while DES is a support service available for the students, it's voluntary. You don't have to ever go into that door, although it is one of the largest departments on our campus. However, over 85% of our students take advantage of the services of DES at some point. And also another important component is that we allow our students who have done very well in their classes to eventually become tutors in DES. So now you're learning from your peers. And also, as our students are progressing and getting prepared to go into their clinical rotations, by teaching in DES, it also helps them to brush up on their basic sciences and prepare them for the USMLE Step 1. Now, beyond academic support, you'll also be supported in working to help define your goals to help you to achieve your ultimate goal of becoming a physician. And with that, we have the Office of Career Guidance and Student Development. They were designed to support you and help you develop a personalized residency strategy, because they understand that everyone has a different path they're taking to become a physician. And so by having a personalized plan, you're always working on track. And also you have the support that you need, so you don't feel like you're alone and trying to figure out which is the next step to take or what's the best way to reach your ultimate goal. So the next factor to consider is a personalized experience. Now, when we talk about a personalized experience, I want you to think about the ability to be able to move beyond working with OCG or the Office of Career Guidance and really tailoring everything that you're taking in medical school and making it personalized for you. So one of the ways that we do that is through our classrooms. We have a 8-to-1 ratio of students to faculty in 75% of our classes and labs. And so what this does is it enables you to be able to obtain a small classroom feel in a large university environment. So you are able to interact better with your faculty members, get assistance. Also, you're able to develop those very important relationships with your classmates and really build the confidence that you need in mastering your basic science curriculum as you're moving on to become a person in your clinical rotations. Also in our labs, the way we're structured and designed, it gives you a chance to really start honing in and developing those very important clinical skills that you'll need as you are moving to your clinical rotations. So our system features a dedicated support that's really focused on your success. Our academic programs are taught in state-of-the-art facilities that are designed to help prepare you for your SGU exams and also ultimately for your USMLE exams for residency, and also just giving you skills that you'll use throughout your medical career. We provide you with interactive team instruction. We also provide you with facilities that mimic the medical environment. So for example, we have a building on campus that looks like a hospital with the actual medical floor, nurses station, exam rooms. We bring in actors that will work with you, and they'll come in with these symptoms and you can practice your bedside manner. We also have robots that are programmed to simulate certain things. So whether it's a woman in labor or a male robot having a heart attack, you're able to work in these environments so that you can really start honing in and developing those skills that you'll be using for the rest of your career. So another factor that's extremely important when you're looking to go to medical school is the campus community, right? You're going to be in the classroom, you are going to be in labs, but what is the environment like where you will be living for the next 2 years? So that's where we really feel like we have a huge advantage over other schools, because we are, after all, located on a beautiful island of Grenada in the Caribbean, and it's more so like a resort as opposed to a college campus. We have brand new dorms. We have a brand fitness facility that was built so that you can just focus on your physical health and mental well-being while you are studying for medical school. We provide our students with a bus system that will get you around the island. So if you don't want to purchase a vehicle or moped, you don't have to. You can take the SGU bus that runs from like 6 a.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning to get you wherever you need to go. We also have lots of beach locations where you can find your own special nook to do your studying. And in the dorms, we have weekly maid service to come in and help you maintain your environment while you're focusing on school. Additionally, we have tons of student clubs and organizations available as well. In fact, we have one of the largest AMSA organizations on our campus. Additionally, if there are any clubs or organizations, whether it's academic related, religious, personal, you are able to develop them if it doesn't exist. One of my graduates told me that he developed a Christian club when he was there about 6 years ago, and the club is still running. So that's his, his shining moment that he likes to say, hey, I developed this club and it's still running and I'm gone, and they're still now taking on the club. So you have those opportunities. We'll work with you to help you organize the club that you are interested in, and even help you with financing it if there's t-shirts or other materials that you need to get it up and running. Another factor that's huge when you're looking at medical schools is the accreditation. You want to make sure that the place where you plan on attending is accredited, because after all, you're going to be spending a lot of time in medical school and it's a significant investment. So let's discuss accreditation. SGU is accredited by Grenada Medical and Dental Council. We're also recognized by the NCFNEA as a U.S. comparable accreditor. Additionally, we are approved and reviewed by the World Federation of Medical Education. And so I know you're probably thinking, okay, that sounds great, but what does all that mean? Well, it basically means that the United States Department of Education deems SGU's accreditation as comparable to U.S. accreditation. This is extremely important if you plan on utilizing any federal funding to be able to attend school. So for example, if you will be submitting the free application for federal student aid, you'll be pleased to know that because of our accreditation, our students are able to do so. So speaking of accreditation and financial aid, let's look at the return on investment, because of course, becoming a physician is a huge investment on yourself, but let's look at the return on that investment when you're not only helping to save lives, but also you're fulfilling a dream. And I know most people that I meet who want to become doctors have been wanting to do so since they were children. So, I mean, when you look at that, fulfilling that lifelong dream is priceless. We have an entire financial aid department that's committed to helping you with obtaining the funds necessary for covering your medical education. Additionally, our students are able to take advantage of U.S. federal loans and scholarship opportunities. About 28% of our students entering class are awarded institutional scholarships. Also, we do have a host of scholarships provided by SGU that you're able to take advantage of as well. And one of the benefits of this is that you're able to learn about scholarship opportunities as you're going through the admissions process. So before you even make your decision on whether or not you'd like to attend SGU, you know up front what scholarships you're able to receive from our institution. So that's very important for you to know, and also you'll want to know that information from other schools as well. So let's look at the application criteria. You know that going to medical school does require you to submit an application. So let's see what all is entailed when you're looking to begin applying for medical schools. Less than 41% of applicants for the 2019-2020 academic year were accepted and matriculated into USMD programs. Now, some of those students ultimately end up applying for a subsequent year, or some of those students are able to apply for international medical schools as another option. In looking at applying to schools, you want to consider a lot of factors. What's the application process? Do you have to submit an application directly to the school? Is there a system that you're using? What are the GPA requirements? MCAT scores? What other requirements do they have of you? You'll want to make sure you have a checklist of all the requirements for submitting an application. Or is the school like SGU? We have a holistic approach to the application process. What that means is we look at every application that's coming in and we make a decision based on that individual person on whether or not we feel that they will be a good fit for SGU and if SGU will be a good fit for them. So as you're exploring other schools, you want to put together this checklist so you can see what process also works best for you. You know, when you look at going to medical school, you look at all the factors that it entails and you think about the support that you'll be getting. And I want you to, for a minute, just think about championship teams, Olympians, athletes, anybody who's ever been really successful in what they're doing. They had a coach, they had a team behind them, a group of people to motivate them and push them and support them. And that's what we do. We provide you with an outstanding educational experience, but also we give you a ton of support and resources to help you reach your ultimate goal, which is to become a practicing physician. Now, for additional information, you are more than welcome to email our admissions office. They are on call and able to answer any questions that you may have about the entire process of how to get into St. George's University, criteria, any questions that you may have at all. But also, we like to go a step above. We developed a program called Speak to a Student. This is where you're able to actually call a number and speak to a student. These are students who are able to answer your questions about life on the island. What type of clothes do I need to pack? I was in the office one day and someone called in and said, I like Starbucks. Do they have Starbucks in Grenada? And the answer is no, they don't have Starbucks, but on campus they have Rituals, which is just like Starbucks, if not a little better. So you can call the student hotline and ask any questions and get that answer from one of your future peers. So I hope that you found this information to be useful for you. I hope you were able to take notes, and I hope that this helps you to be able to make a well-informed decision as you are researching medical schools. So at this point, I'd like to open it up and see what questions you have for us and see how we can help you make an even better decision. So please go ahead and put those questions in chat and we'll be more than happy to get you some answers. I know a lot of people are wondering now with the USMLE changing to pass-fail. One of the questions that I get a lot is how will that impact me as I'm now moving through and going to residency? Of course, no one knows for sure. Some of the doctors that I've spoken with, a lot of them speculate that more emphasis will be placed on your grades and also your step 2 USMLE. So those are just factors to consider. However, step 1, pass or fail, still is very important. You want to pass it. You don't want to fail the step 1 exam. So you do want to make sure that you attend a school that has a curriculum structure to support you doing very well on that exam. Of the people joining, how many have considered attending a medical school outside of the United States? Oh, Paula. Okay, so Paula wants to know, has SGU been affected by COVID? Do you mean in regards to COVID cases? If so, our students are currently attending online for this session. So back in March, when everything occurred and we saw that schools were going to be shut down, we moved our students back to their home locations, and the Grenada government has closed off the borders, so no one is going into Grenada. So that's why for the fall term, our students were online. So our students have been taking their classes online. Any challenges? So Nini is asking, are there any challenges with student retention at your institution? You know, when you look at retention at any institution, a lot of factors we have to consider. I mean, of course, we're going to have students who are unfortunately able to attend for various factors. Sometimes it's health reasons, sometimes it's finance, sometimes it's grades. So it's just different factors that affect our students. However, we don't have any issues in regards to helping students overcome many of the challenges that they have, which is why we have a lot of support systems in place to help our students. But ultimately, I think the biggest factor is making sure you get into the right institution for you so that hopefully you won't have any of those issues occur. So is SGU, so with COVID having impacted shadowing opportunities, is shadowing a requirement for SGU? Also, MCAT dates are impossible to schedule at the moment. Is SGU requiring MCATs? So shadowing is not a requirement for admission. So what we do with our application process, we do look at students who have had various backgrounds in their educational career. So while some people have done extensive volunteering, some people may have done research, some people have done various things, which is why we look at our applications holistically. Also, in regards to MCATs, the MCAT is currently not required for our January admission because we know that you just can't get in to take a test right now. So luckily, we don't have to require that, and it won't hold people up from beginning their journey. So I'm very pleased about that. You're welcome, Nini. Also, what do you look for in an unconventional applicant? Oh, great question. I love that. So we look for people who really want to be doctors. I mean, one of the steps of the admissions process is going through a graduate interview with one of our graduates, a physician, and they'll talk with you about why you want to become a doctor. And so we look for that. We look for people who are sincere and who really want to be a doctor. If you think you want to become a physician because you want to make big money and you want to live like the people on television, then you probably should rethink it, because the big bucks don't come rolling in just as soon as you graduate. We're looking for people who are committed to helping patients, who are committed to solving some of the healthcare issues. I mean, with COVID, it's a great example. We need people in this field who are going to help us so that we don't have another pandemic in 5 or 10 years. So we look for people to be honest. Please don't Google questions about how to ace in a medical interview. Just be yourself. If you had hiccups in your background, if your academic record is a little blemished, it's okay. Show us how you overcame it. That's what we look for. We look for people who did not have a perfect educational journey, because honestly, who did? But we look for people who overcame it. What did you learn from it? Okay, you messed up freshman year, but how did you rebound? And what got you to where you are now? So various factors that we look for in applicants. And I'm pleased to say that we don't just have a checklist that we say, okay, you have to meet this, 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 and this. And if you don't, you're not admitted. I am so grateful that we do follow that more holistic approach. Any other questions? Well, yes.
Wendy, thank you so much. I was going to give it just another minute and see if anybody had any questions, but I was enamored by all the beautiful photos And also just the passion that you have for your university. It really comes through, and I just want to thank you for sharing all about St. George's University.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. And I just wish everyone the best on your journeys. And please remember, as you're progressing through this phase, be kind to yourself and others, because that's really, truly what we need more of at this point.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like we did have a question come through. Oh,
Yeah, it
Paula,
looks like
go ahead.
yeah. So have you had applicants who had a previous nursing and public health background who want to transition to medicine? Absolutely. You know, we actually have a master's of public health degree that some of our students take when they're pursuing their 4-year MD, and they incorporate that into their studies. So in regards to nursing, I meet a ton of people. The funny thing about nurses, let me tell you this about a lot of people, not all, but a lot, is that they wanted to become doctors, but sometimes life happens and it's a shorter path, you know, to get in the medical field, which is ultimately what they want to do, is help people. And so they decide that, you know, I'll become a nurse. And then at some point, being a nurse just isn't enough. And they decide that they want more. And so they go to school to become a doctor. And what I always tell people, if I can catch you in the beginning before you start nursing school, if you say you want to become a doctor, become a doctor. You don't have to become a nurse in order to become a fabulous doctor. Everything that you need to learn to become a successful physician, you will learn in medical school. So if it's something that's really in your heart to become an MD, just become an MD. However, if you did go the nursing path, we can still assist you. And a lot of our nurses do transition very seamlessly into the MD program because they do have that foundation already of working in the medical field.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you so much again, Wendy and Brad, and to our attendees for all of your questions. This will conclude our final session of the day, so I'm going to stop recording here.